So I'm going to attempt to explain a general rule that I've seen exploited in the past. But for those who are familiar with chakra systems, or hell, even the etheric body itself, or even the concept of emotional body, intellectual body, physical body. For those who are in the metaphysics. Now, if you're meditating and you're lining up the whole thing, all three of the aspects of the primary, mind, body, heart, soul, etc., all that stuff. When you're lining all that up, otherwise known as chakras in some cultures, but it's not exactly the same practice. It's not the same practice. None whatsoever. Although there are similarities. Now, when you're doing that, it can make you open to attack. In fact, that's why in a lot of ancient practices, you generally draw a circle of protection around you before you begin meditating anyway. Because it's a very fragile, crucial point where points are aligning. It's like, in orbit. When they go to connect this capsule and a spaceship with the space station, they got to line up this thing like this. That's exactly what it's like. So imagine someone comes in and adds an extra spin to energy. Or something. Generally if you do it right, you only have to worry about, the unseen side of energies and thought forms, astral projections. People do create and project that on their own, and I have had to deal with it on a signal level just because I went to school for that shit, so I know what that is. It's called on an electrical level, yeah. Even looking at the body as a giant antenna. See, there's a leading theory right now that basically we as the flesh are not anything but tapping into or receiving a greater piece of the consciousness, just our own little piece of it. That's not how I roll at all. Every being, every last spark of life has its own unique energy signature. No two are alike. So you can imagine with that rule in place universally how you get quantum mechanics. That's like, all right, every seed has its own song. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Jade Empire, an Xbox game. I would love to play again. Very immersive world. Very immersive freaking storyline. But there was a saying in that video game that comes from an old Chinese proverb or something that says the more copies you make of something, the weaker the very original one becomes. In other words, every time you make a copy of 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 a, you get degradation. That's half the reason why cloning cows, for instance. Cloned beef was approved for human consumption by the FDA in 2006. And even the farmers said there's something wrong with those cows. Because they're all on the same bandwidth. See, nature has these built-in little security features to protect its individuality. So, as I was saying before, no, every source and origin, every soul spark well and strike the stone, and the sparks fly. Yeah. This is the entire thing, YouTube. Science is rudimentarily simple. Especially in my domain. Because although some people call it brute force, it's not. It's similar for structure, but it goes more like this. Isolation of variables and constants and their interactions. So that means one would be a constant, A would be a variable. So in other words, it'd be fixed constant with, parentheses at that point. Variable. Interaction should go in the middle. That means an equation that works from two sides, that meets in the middle, instead of your classic arithmetic. What's really cool, once I have a common ground for the end equation in the middle, is I can add other branches. So I'm not limited to just one line of math, to one outcome. So think of it, if I put gravity, weak nuclear force, strong nuclear force, and magnetism. These are these forces that people call them. Well, if I make a square out of them, then they're connected the wrong way. But if I connect them in the middle and a square, then I have their entire variable interaction mapped. Just like that. It's called, sometimes you don't have to be smart, you just have to have a better system. of operation. Fundamentally. Tacos cure everything, I swear. But yeah, with my budget, what I'm going to do is, I'm technically on budget, but I'm in flux. This is why I don't like doing anything without receipts, either. Don't get me started. That's why I've been trying to do everything on the record instead. Sorry, I'm just like half zoning into the environment around me and got a little pesty little nose hair I still need to remove. Pardon me. Just taking in the scenery. I used to actually do charcoal sketches, charcoal sketches, drawings, whatever they call it, and whatever it is called by whomever. AKA Day. Anyway, so I would actually do charcoal drawings of buildings and cityscapes. That's how my eyes work. There's this Asian kid, Nathan William Ray. I dropped his name because he's done some very illegal shit. Worse than drugs. That I'm not doing. I can trace them right back to with cybersecurity. I mean, this is a catastrophe and a half, and I know it. And all I asked the government for was a damn old fucking Ford Ranger. With a cab on it or something, or lower, yeah, even that. One that just rode by. Like, guys, just give me a truck so I can get the fuck out now. I ain't bugging out, I'm just saying done.